Alright, so in this video what we're going to do is write the equation of a parabola given the vertex, which is not at 0, 0, and given the focus. So, the very first thing I notice about these 2 points, here's my vertex. So my vertex is always h comma k. So that means h equals -2 and k equals 1. And then I have my focus. Well, before, when the vertex was at the origin, my focus was either p comma 0 or 0 comma p. Now what's going to happen is I need to pay attention to my points that are given, because remember, the vertex and the focus always lie on the axis of symmetry together. So if the axis of symmetry is horizontal, that means the parabola opens left and right. If the axis of symmetry is vertical, that means the parabola opens up and down. And that's going to tell us what rule to use. So what you probably have already noticed is that my y values are exactly the same. So what I'm going to do is start by sketching a graph of these 2 points. The reason why I'm going to sketch a graph of these 2 points and draw a sketch of my parabola is to figure out what rule I need to use. So my vertex was at -2 comma 1. So right here, that's my vertex. So V. And then my focus was at -3 comma 1. Okay, so remember, the focus is always on the inside of the parabola. And these 2 points are always on the line of symmetry. So here is my line of symmetry. It's going to go through both points. And since my line of symmetry is horizontal, that means my parabola is going to open up to the left and to the right. So that's just a sketch of what my parabola looks like. Now, since we know what the parabola looks like, I know what the parabola looks like, now I know what type of rule to use. It's going to be y minus k squared equals 4p x minus h. What we need to do to create this equation now is to actually plug in our values for h and k, and then we're done. It's really that simple. The hardest part is figuring out which rule to use. So my h was -2, my k was +1. So I have y minus 1 squared equals 4p x minus -2. I want to clean up as much as I can. Negative, negative makes it positive, so y minus 1 squared equals 4p x plus 2. Okay. We're almost done. The only thing left to do is to figure out now, what is my p value? Well, notice here, these 2 y values were the same. Whenever you have 2 y values or 2 x values that are exactly the same, that's your p value, if you're given the focus. So my p value is 1, because I was given the focus. So p is 1. So using that information, my final equation, y minus 1 squared equals 4 times 1 is just 4, so x plus 2. Now, you could go through and do a little bit more algebra if you wanted to be able to get y by itself, but really this is all I'm looking for. My biggest concern is, did you know what rule to use for? Were you able to figure out what h and k were? Were you able to figure out what p was? I don't really care about if you graphed it. I already did the sketch of the graph, so I don't need you to graph it again on your calculator. You can if you want to, but this is okay to stop at this point. Okay? So, let's do another example. If you need to pause, slow down, kind of catch your breath after this, because it is a little confusing at first, but once you do a couple of them, it's not that bad, I hope. So, what I'm going to do is move on to another example. Actually, not. Sorry, I thought I had another example, but I don't. So, if you got questions about this process, again, for the focus, pay attention. Do the y values match? If so, then it's a horizontal axis of symmetry. Do the x values match? If so, then it's a vertical axis of symmetry. So just let me know if you have any questions. This might take some time, but practice.